things, global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Global Happenings Today YouTube channel. An event happened some few years ago during the time and reign of President Muhammadu Buhari that threw the country into mourning, where the then Chief of Army Staff, the Lieutenant General Ibrahim Atahiru, now late, met his untimely death. The event surrounding it, Nigerians took it with a pinch of salt, while a retired Major General have decided to speak up on a lot of things. It's quite, let's run through the news, then we'll leave you to decide what to make of this. Well, before we go into the news proper, kindly subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button. Beside it, you will see a bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as you update our channel on YouTube. Now, the retired Major General Danjuma Al-Kafi, the former general officer commanding GOC of the 1 Division of the Nigerian Army, has raised serious concerns about the fatal air crash that claimed the life of the former Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Atahiru, and 11 other senior military officers. Now, in an exclusive interview, Ali Kafi contends that the crash is intricately linked to these guys that finance terrorists, now urging President Bola Tinubu to launch an immediate investigation into the incident. Now, Ali Kafi, who expresses reservations about the official investigation, alleges a deliberate suppression of critical details surrounding that crash. He emphasized that the full report of the investigation has not been disclosed to the public, adding an air of suspicion to the circumstances leading up to the tragic incident. Now, the retired general asserts that Atahiru was pivotal in the formulating strategies to eradicate terrorism in the northern Nigeria. Ali Kafi contends that the late army chief effort to tackle this extended to exposing and even neutralizing these financiers. In a detailed account of the event leading to the crash, Ali Kafi raises questions about the abrupt changes in the scheduled trip, alterations in the choice of aircraft, and modifications in the landing airport. He points to a sequence of unusual events, including the aircraft descent in the stormy weather, a delayed departure, and an ear-shattering explosion before the crash, casting doubt on the official narrative. Ali Kafi explained that about 2100 hours on Thursday, 20th May 2021, I spoke on phone with the Chief of Staff, COS, that Chief of Staff, to the late COAS regarding their impending trip to Kaduna the following day, which is the 21st May 2021. I had earlier spoken with General Atahiru on the same issue. We ended our conversation on the note that the late COAS, Chief of Army Staff, and their entourage would come by flight at about 1,000 hours. That's 1,000 hours the following day, which is about 1 o'clock. Now, about 6:30 hours the following morning, I called the COO, that's COS, to the late COAS, that's Chief of Army Staff, to confirm if their travel plan was as we discussed the night before, as I needed to make arrangements for the mosque that the COAS would attend Jumat, which is on Friday prayers. Now, the COS informed me that there was a change of plan. He said after we finished speaking last night, they received a message that the late COAS was to attend a meeting either at the Honorable Minister of Defense, which is HMOND, office at the Presidential Villa at about that 1,000 hours on Friday, 21 May 2021, and that the late COAS was to attend in person and not send a representative. It is important to note that the late COA's trip to Kaduna was part of his visit to Zaria to attend the passing out parade at the Deputy NA slated for Saturday 22nd May 2021. It is worth noting that the movement of the service chiefs out of station, which is Abuja, is with the prior knowledge of the Chief of Defence Staff, CDS, the Honorable Minister of Defence, HMOD, and the Presidency. So, why was a meeting scheduled for about the same time that the late COAS was to have departed for or arrived Kaduna? Why the insistence that the COAS should not be represented? In any case, the COS informed me that in view of the meeting, they should depart the Flag House, which is the official residence of the COS, at about 15:30 hours, after attending the meeting and also after the Jumat prayers for the airport. They expected to arrive the airport at about 1600 hours, board the airport at about 16:10 hours to 16:15 hours, and depart for Kaduna at about 16 hours. I was informed that they had arrived the presidential wing of the airport. I then set off from the Stallion House, official residence of the GOC, with my entourage in a convoy and arrived the Air Force Base at about 16:15 hours. For reasons that I cannot understand, till today, the flight was delayed for over an hour and did not take off until 17:30 hours or thereabout. The reason for the delay, as I was informed, was that there was issue with the aircraft that was initially assigned for the mission, which is to convey the COAS and its entourage, and that it had to be changed. Ali Cafe also disclosed that in the meantime, there was a meteorological alert that Kaduna airspace was going to experience heavy rainfall accompanied with a storm and wind shear, and it was advised already. The cloud had already formed in Kaduna, which was visible to us at the airport. As a matter of fact, the cloud was so thick, which was indicative of a massive storm. I began to nurse doubt about the flight. At some point, I voiced my doubt to the Air Commander Iyamo and Air Commodore Iyamo and Air Commodore Ilo, who were with me to receive the COAS. I even suggested that they should advise Abuja of weather conditions with a view to having the flight cancelled. At that point, I was informed that the aircraft was airborne at about 17:45 hours. I became concerned as to whether the aircraft would be able to land at the airport in such a heavy rainfall or storm. The rain had started falling then. Thus, I was not surprised when Air Commodore Ilo informed me that we had to go to the Civil International Airport as the NAF runway was not long enough to enable the aircraft land under atrocious weather conditions. We then set off for the international airport, but at a snail speed due to the heavy rainfall, which was accompanied with shell, which is ice particles. And the former GOC said, when we got to the vicinity of the airport, there was a thunderous sound, which I thought was the sound of thunder. We had earlier cited that I believe was the aircraft descending to land on the runway. When we turned the bend to enter the tarmac, the thought of my mind was that the aircraft had touched down and was taxiing to the parking area. I couldn't see any aircraft in the runway. I frantically looked around, and by the far side of the runway, there was a fireball. It was the aircraft conveying General Atahiru. We got out the vehicles and crossed the runway and approached the burning aircraft. Firefighters were on hand to put out the blaze. At some point, we had to pull back due to the fear of exploding cylinders. We later recovered the corpses of the 10 passengers on board the E-Force apparently. Their bodies, which were on fire, were flown from the aircraft before it came down, already in flames. Furthermore, the aircraft, or what was left of it, at least what I could recollect, was on a relatively flat grassland. There was no crater. There was indicative of a mine air explosion. So, what caused the aircraft to explode? I wonder what the Air Safety and Accident Investigation Bureau report says about that incident. Air Cafe further queried, was the flight deliberately delayed in order to be caught up in the rainstorm? Was the aircraft sabotaged? which caused it to explode mid-air? Was the explosion caused by explosives? Was a bomb planted in the aircraft or contained in a parcel, which a passenger unknowingly carried? A whole lot of questions. And of course, Nigerians have also decided to ask or answer some of the questions in no particular order. I will take them. This one here says, that is another story for another time. Another person here says, this crash was a planned work of some corrupt people who do not want this whole thing to stop in Nigeria. They planned it so that the great man that did not know, may his soul rest in peace. Okay. Another person says, but you people are the most people. I don't understand what they're writing here. Another person says, many questions to begging for answers. This is not strange. Our people can go at length to bring it down people just because they want to get rid of one person. One thing I know is that about 700 years coming, that generation will not be able to know if we once existed on the planet Earth. All right, many Nigerians are talking. Let's meet in our comment section once we take. Have a nice time. God bless you.